70% of US households own a pet. Dogs are the most popular pet in the US, while cats follow a close second, and then freshwater fish. There's an entire industry that caters to pets and pet owners, all of them claiming to know what your pet needs in terms of nutrition and health. As pet parents, we look for the best. But are we giving the best? Let's ask Thomas Sandberg, board certified animal naturopath, researcher, and the founder of Long Living Pets Research Foundation. He has, over the last 18 years, helped pet owners make the switch to raw food. Yes, I say raw food, and owners that have pets with cancer to beat the disease using a natural method. Welcome on the show, Thomas.
Thank you.
So, you are on a mission to help pets live longer, healthier lives, all by eating raw food.
Yes, that's my mission. Yeah, is to extend the life of pets because we kind of all want them to live forever. Yeah, but I know they can live much longer than they do today, and I also on a mission to reduce the risk of cancer. And those two things can best done with the proper diet, a species appropriate diet. So we feed what the species are designed for when it comes to the digestive system. And that for dogs, since they're very closely related to carnivores, that's a raw food diet based on meat and bones. And that sounds terrifying to some, but there's just no way around it. There are people that claim that dogs have evolved into omnivores. I don't see any evidence of that, but that's a very common thing, and that justify a little bit to feed other things than raw food if there were. Because we are omnivores, we eat plants, we eat fruits, we eat all kinds of things we get nutrients from. And a carnivore get extremely few nutrients from plant materials. They have a hard time digesting it, so they get most of the nutrient from raw meat.
Great.
And that's what I promote when it comes to sick dogs. If I get dogs that are allergy issues or any type of illness, I always recommend, if they're not already, switching to a raw food diet.
Okay.
And in most cases, there almost every case, I see a tremendous difference because the
Wow.
immune system get into action and get healed and start doing its things. And the purpose of the immune system is to keep you healthy. But the immune system need resources for that, and that's nutrients, and they get best from a raw food diet.
This is very interesting, and considering that everybody who I know, all the pet owners, every single person is trying to give their dog or the cat the best food that is available in the market, which is very, very expensive. And if you say that, would you say that it is the food that is creating the problem?
Yeah. Well, I believe that the poor health, there are four things I promote and I try people to get into. And the number one thing is to change the diet to what they're meant to be fed, and that is a raw food diet. Then the second is exercise. Lack of exercise is also a tremendous uh, hit to the immune system and overall healthy dog. Because when you exercise your dog, you activate something called the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is the garbage collector in the body and get rid of toxins or chemicals. The only way the lymphatic system works is by movement. You need to kind of move the dog. It doesn't have to run and do crazy things, but a movement of 15, 20 minutes once or twice a day makes a tremendous difference when it comes to healing too. And even in cancer, as the cancer dogs that get exercised heal faster and better than dogs that are not being exercised. Number three is to limit vaccinations. Vaccination have become a huge problem in the animal world of pets. Because in my opinion, we over-vaccinate. Every single year you encourage to do vaccinations.
Right.
And those take a big hit to the immune system. I believe one vaccination lasts a lifetime. And that's
Okay.
some many do that, and I agree with me. But in the industry of manufacturing, the ones that make vaccination, it's not very interested in promoting that.
That is
And the fourth thing is avoid toxins or chemicals in general. they how around in the household, cleaning products, things like that, and also tick, flea, and heartworm is actually consists of mostly pesticides that also are very damaging to the immune system. So if people can do those four things, they will see a tremendous difference in the health of their dog, and also will expand the extend the lifespan.
That's wonderful to know. Of course, we will all want our pets to live longer. I have a number of questions that are cropping up as you're talking. Number one is this breeding that we have, the breeds that we have today are often evolved breeds. These are breeds that are made for like these small breeds, which require very little food or which require very little maintenance. So would these breeds also benefit from the raw food diet?
Yeah, any breed, any dog breed and cat, if you lump in cats too, it's will benefit from raw food diet because they're extremely close to carnivores. They don't look like a carnivore outside, but the digestive system inside are similar. The functions are similar to a carnivore, and they will any dog, tiny little toy breed, designer dogs, or all the crazy stuff they do with dogs these days. They all will benefit from a raw food diet much more than they will on the kibble and the dry food or the processed food.
But
Which is with people, if people understand what's in a kibble diet, they're highly processed. Nobody would that knows a little bit about nutrition will eat that themselves or feed it to the kids. We know processed food is bad, and but feeding it to the dogs, they don't connect sometimes. They don't thinking because it says dog food outside the bag, and it is not dog food. I go to the store because I have two Great Danes, and I'd load up my cart with meat, and then people looking in and say, "Oh wow, you're having a barbecue or something? Oh, and come out to your place." No, it's for my dogs, and they say, "Oh wow, oh you don't feel dog food?" Well, I without going into it, I stopped doing that many years ago. Now this is actually dog food, and they just kind of sort of look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah. If they call that people food, that's fine. I don't care what they call it, but that raw meat is much closer to dog food than kibble, processed kibble. So, but you know, people are not. They don't see the connection unless they start studying these things.
exactly right. Must be, I'm sure.
And I see most people that I come to me, they had generations after generation of dogs that died of cancer. And then what point is that? What is going on? This is not right. Every dog I have died of cancer, and then they start researching, and then they get into at one point finding something about raw food and start looking at raw food. What would you feed a dog raw food? Oh, because they're carnivore, and they start linking things together and thinking, wait a minute, this time that food makes much more sense than kibble. So usually it takes some tragic thing or occurrence that happened over time, that you lost your dogs, short lives, cancer, or other terrible liver diseases, kidney diseases, and those things are very common in kibble-fed dogs and cats. So at one point people wake up and then they realize, okay, I need to change something here. Because the veterinarian is not going to tell you, because they see this all day long. That's normal to them. Kibble, you feed kibble, and at 8, 9, 10 years, most of them 8 to 10, that's when cancer hits most dogs. So when people join my study, in my study, people that join with their dogs just to enter into my studies, to be part of my study, the same entry there is also with dogs with cancer. So I have a same form. And when I see the date, like the 8 to 10, without seeing anything else, I always know it's cancer.
Oh,
It's all, yeah, it's just a terrible thing that, like I said, no, there was before then, but I believe 70-80% of dogs today get cancer. If they live past 10, almost all of them will get cancer at one point, which is absolutely horrific. It's
and
terrible.
you started this nonprofit because you saw your dog suffer from cancer and decided to do something about it.
Yes, I had a dog with cancer too, but I kind of knew about this before. The dog I was a rescue that was really in bad shape when I got him and eventually ended up with cancer. And I tried everything I could to avoid that. But so it's no guarantee. It's not 100% guarantee. What I tell people in my study, all the 6,000 dogs I have in my study, and the ones now is maybe 100, 200 had died. The rate of cancer in that study is below 10%. So in the real world, I believe it's 70, 80. What I see so far, I just want many, many more dogs to confirm that, but I see less than 10%. So there's a tremendous difference when you feed the right food. Is one of the best way to protect your dogs from cancer. Then there are cancer fighting supplements and things like that you can add in. But the number one thing is the food. You can't get away from that. It's impossible. I've never seen a dog, and I have over 400 cancer cases I consulted in, and not one single dog has survived cancer on kibble ever. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
That's interesting.
And the veterinarians know that because that's where the numbers come from. Because everything they deal with when it comes to cancer or any type of illness with a dog are kibble-fed dogs. They don't see raw-fed dogs on cancer. They see it sometimes because some of my clients that when they survive cancer, they take it back to the vet like 6-7 months later, and the vet say, "Oh wow, why is this dog should be dead like 3 months ago, 3, 4, 6 months ago?" And they say, tell them, "No, we talked to this guy on some other talk to other people too, but they encourage me to switch to a raw food diet." And their response is always the same. Okay, oh, well, whatever you do, continue doing it because this is fantastic. So they do know. I know many veterinarians personally. They do understand and they know the power of a raw food diet. I know veterinarians themselves that feed their dogs a raw food diet, but they promote kibble and other things in their clinic. So there is no doubt. They see more and more dog now our dogs are cats are fed raw food diet. So they eventually we go to the vet and they talk about it. So they do discourage it if they dealing with a disease and they think, "Hey, I'm thinking of switching my dog to a raw food diet." They will say, "No, that's not a good idea. That can make things worse." Because they believe that the dogs are sick, which is correct, have a weak immune system. You only get sick because your immune system can't keep you healthy. So that means that the potential bacteria that you find in a raw food diet could damage your dog. So that's their reasoning for not recommending a raw food diet, but it's actually the opposite. When you feed a raw food diet to a sick dog, the immune system gets stronger and they heal much, much faster. They don't die from the bacteria in the raw food. The raw food, the bacteria, they can handle easily. They're scavengers. They can eat the rotten food and not die. They can eat food with salmonella, they won't die. And
that probably explains why the stray dogs, I mean, in most countries, stray dogs, why they survive longer and why they are even fitter.
yeah, because they eat whatever they find, like people food, like things that people throw away. They go into the garbage, and people feed maybe food that they don't even finish eating and things like that. But they rarely get kibble and things. They eat whatever they find on the streets and things like that, and they move around all the time. So the exercise element comes in there too. They keep them healthy in that sense. And you never see fat dogs. The street dogs are usually lean, and many of them look actually really healthy.
Yeah.
But of course, there's sick dogs there too, like anywhere else. They
Yes.
they do get sick. It's not like they're healthy
Correct.
more than others. Maybe they are, but
So,
I always think that too. I see travel and you see dogs in the streets, they don't look that bad
true, very
often, but and they don't get over vaccinated because
exactly.
they don't get into that and other chemicals and things, flea tick and heartworm. You don't put those things on the healthy dogs. I mean street dogs, so they avoid certain things and get their exercise. Maybe some of the food, is not that bad. So yes,
But
it's
having said that, kibble is really a convenient food to give, isn't it? For people who are really busy, people who want a pet, but they are able to manage. Kibble is a very convenient food to give. So,
That's the biggest thing. That's why people feel kibble, because it's so inconvenient. And you can feed your dogs in 5 seconds, basically.
Exactly.
With
We
a
even have those
with a raw
machines
food
where it,
with a raw food diet takes a little preparation. When you want to put together, because ideally you want to feed a raw food diet consisted of 4 or 5 different proteins from different animals. Then you want to add in some organ meats, liver, kidney, things like that. So there is a rough proportion that people start with. They call it 80-10-10. So the 80% meat, the 10% bones, meaty bones like chicken bones, the chicken thighs, wings, things like that is very common. And then you have the liver, which is the last 10%. The liver, and I mean the organ meats, one being liver, and then add something else if you can find it. So 80-10-10. That's kind of the basic formula. But some dogs need more bones, some less, so you adjust it as you go. And then you start. If you start on a raw food diet, you start with 2 to 3% of the dog's ideal weight as the total meal for the day. So that's a starting point. And many people are scared if they're switching to a raw food diet to balance it. And balance is a big thing, and also an argument from veterinarians. Oh, you can never balance a raw food diet because you're used to the kibble diet. On the back of the kibble, it says all the nutrients are listed there, 100%, 100%, 100%. So you think you're feeding a balanced, good diet. The thing about these nutrients in kibble too is that they are synthetic. It's not natural, because when you're in the process of making dry food and kibble, they cook everything to death. There's almost nothing live in there. There's something useful in there, so it's just gone. So they need to add things back in. And this kibble company don't want to spend money on expensive vitamins and nutrients that's natural, organic, and all those things. So they're adding in synthetic versions of the different animals, so they can list it on the bag that they're in there and 100%. And nobody knows if that really works out completely. But the synthetic form of any vitamins and minerals is not what a carnivore expect to get in. So sometimes they don't even know what that is, so they can't utilize it properly.
right. It's
So, but
interesting,
the
Dusty.
good thing about balance is not like we don't have to balance. What we need to do, we need to give the dog the resources for balance, so the body can balance itself. So when you give a dog a variety of raw food, and they're adding in their organ meats and things, maybe an egg every other day, you have almost a perfect meal right there. That gives most of the nutrients that a dog needs to sustain a strong immune system, because the body knows more what it needs than we do. I mean, everybody's different. Every dog is different, have different needs. But the body cells would ask, "Hey, I need this to build this and this." And if it's there, the body will give it. If they have things in the body that the body doesn't need, they either store it as organ reserves.
Right.
Carnivores are the hunters, and they don't find meat every day, and they can go days and days and days without food. So the organ reserves are the one that fuel the body, so they still can hunt and run and act normally. So that's a big thing for a carnivore, is to store the organ reserve for the organ, so the body can function properly and go hunting and all that. And if it doesn't need it, just purge it. If there are nutrients in there as too much of something, the body just gets rid of it. So you cannot go wrong. The biggest argument with raw food is balance. And I think you're thinking about it the wrong way. You can never balance a dog because you don't know what the dog needs. All you can give is to give the resources for balance. And that can best be done via raw food diet. So that's why that is so effective. I have a Instagram page called The Long Living Pets, and there's 400 cases there where the dog had some sort of a health issue. They switched the diet to raw. That's all they did, and the dog healed itself. In
Wow.
80-90% of the cases I get, the diet, it's all switching the diet, and everything fixes itself. Give it like a few weeks. You even within a week or two, you can see differences. But that's what's so encouraging with raw food diets. The results are almost immediate. You see things changing immediately, which encourage you and give you motivation and to continue. Because if you change anything and nothing changes, then why would I do this? I don't see a difference.
Yeah.
First thing you see when you switch a diet is the poop. It's like 1/3 coming out what used to come out if you fed kibble. Because raw food contains 70% water. So
Correct.
you actually hydrate dogs at the same time as also give the nutrients. So what comes out is so much less than went in. With kibble, it's often dried. It sucks the water out of the body and expands. And so sometimes it looks like more comes out than went in. So it's a complete opposite effect.
You know,
And another thing you see is the smell, the fur, and things like that. It looks better. You don't see that immediately. You see the teeth are cleaner. You don't see tartar over time. On my dogs never ever clean their teeth. I don't have to because nothing builds up. There is no carbs or anything to build and create tartar because the body of a carnivore doesn't have the enzymes to break down carbohydrates, so that will just maintain in the mouth if you feed kibble. So that's why they have so bad teeth. Most dogs, about 8 or 10, had several teeth extracted. They probably had to clean the teeth every year, twice a year, things like that. You don't have to do that on a carnivore because there's nothing there to build
that's
tartar.
amazing.
Let's take a break to understand what Chizuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state-of-the-art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chizuba began with this very vision. A vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chizuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chizuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chizuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest.
So I would think with all your research, with all the results that you are getting, you are up against a big industry that is, into making of kibble and the veterinary industry.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you are actually putting up a big fight.
Oh no, yeah, I'm a total quack in their mind. I promote all these things that they hate because it's take away from their business and their products. And there are, like with humans, there is a medication or often 5, 10 medication for every type of disease out there. Blood pressure, insulin problems, heart problems, kidney problems, all kinds of things. There are medication for, and the same with dogs. And that's if you heal your dog naturally with food, there's none of those are necessary. And that's a big loss to them.
Right.
And kibble companies are fighting me like crazy, and I'm the craziest person out there. I used to be. Now they're so common. So, but encouraging dogs to feed, go on a raw food diet, and they say I did a 7, 8 years ago, I think, or even maybe longer. I wrote a letter to 4 or 5 kibble companies because they start putting up that dogs are omnivores. And I pretended I was some client or something. I thought dogs were carnivores, but now I say omnivores. This is the biggest relief in my life because now I feel much better feeding kibble and other things because omnivores can digest that better than a carnivore. So, but I am skeptical because I'm trying to find the research you base this on. Can you please give me some, so for my own peace of mind, when did dogs become omnivores? Is there any study? Of course, there's nothing
There's
because it
nothing.
never happened.
Mhm.
No. It takes a long time for evolution to kick in to change things. Take a tremendous long time. This kibble only been around for 80, 100 years, 70, 80 years or something. A dog doesn't change based on that. Even if you take the dogs in a home, which have been more than that, it doesn't change that fast. and everything screams carnivore in the dog. The teeth, from the teeth all the way to the end of the dog, everything in there is similar to what a carnivore would do.
Yeah, I was.
Dogs can't grind. They can't do this with their teeth. They go up and down, up and down. They can't. So the teeth are not set up. They're only set up to cut and swallow.
Right, yeah.
When you see a dog eat, they call them gulpers. In the real life, in a pack environment, the one that eats the most is the one that's going to survive. And if you want to eat the most, you got to eat fast. So they don't chew anything. They rip and swallow, rip and swallow. They happen to get a piece that's a little bit too big. Yes, they would try to divide it or cut it down a little bit so they can swallow it. But that saliva, that slimy stuff, helps these big pieces to go down. So for a dog, it's all about eat as fast as I can. I get as much as I can. I'm going to survive that way. And some dogs still have that in them. So they're gulpers. And people freaking out, oh my God, my dog doesn't enjoy his food at all. He just dive in and eat it. Yes, that's fine, as long as it stays down. Those dogs sometimes throw up because they get so much down so fast and it doesn't sit in the stomach right. So they need to throw it up and sort of rearrange it. And which is gross to humans, but it's 100% natural to a dog. So you just got to kind of, whatever they threw it up on the carpet, on the floor, whatever it is, leave it there so they can eat it again, which is a lot of people find gross, but
Yeah.
that's because they're humans, yeah. A dog, that's normal for them, because if you start taking that away and say, no, then you create something that's extremely confusing for a dog and make him nervous.
Wow.
You don't want nervous dog eating.
This has been an interesting talk. I'm looking at everything that you have said makes sense. It suits the logic. And right, I mean, I'm sure feeding an appropriate diet can add years to the lives of pets and definitely can reduce the risk of cancer and other diseases. But
And what we're trying. No, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we just have to give it a trial and error. Is there a way that we can try for a week or two and then say that no, it's not suiting the dog? Is that also a possibility?
Yeah, I wrote a book. This is probably the most easiest and most sensible. Not because I wrote it or anything, but people say it because they buy these raw feeding books, and they get terrified of doing something wrong because they list in the micronutrients and this. Oh, you need this for this and this and this and this. So the end of the book, you sitting there with like 20, 30 supplements you can add into your dog, and all the different foods you're supposed to add into the dog. So people are just terrified. There's no way I can do this. And then they happen to come across my book, which is completely different because I don't think we need to balance on from, like I explained before, the balance happens from within. So all you need to do is to give the resources for it. So in my book, I encourage people to start with one protein, like chicken. Most people start with chicken because dogs can digest the bones and everything in a chicken extremely easily. And then they can do that for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Doesn't matter. I know people have fed chicken for 17 years, never fed anything else in a dog. I don't recommend that. You need to add other things, red meat and other things in there. But just to get started and not having to go crazy, start with just chicken and leave. But what happens almost every single time within 4 or 5 days, oh, he loves the food. I can't, because the first meal is the worst. You put it down and you have some chicken pieces there, maybe some thighs, and you have a chicken wing or, whatever you put in there. And the dog eats it and it looks happy and all that. And you feel that's the first relief. And then you wake up the day after, your dog is still alive. And then you figure, okay, this is actually working. And then they do it again and again. And within 3-4 days, Tom, can we add something else? He loves the diet. He just can't wait. I've never seen him like this when I prepare meat. But often these kibble dogs, they get sick of the kibble, so they come into the kitchen and I don't know if I'm going to eat, and then they sit out all day and they nibble on it and they eat a little bit here and there. When they switch to raw food diet, very often they go completely bananas. Suddenly they realize this is my new food, and then they get encouraged to want to add in other things. That you can add some red meat, and then you can add this and this and this. So you slowly start adding in, but It's all case by case. They don't have to do it right away. A
So
dog on
gradually.
chicken for a week or two or three is eating hundreds of times better than the kibble diet, because there is actually a lot of nutrients in the chicken.
Yeah.
So
The
that's the way I encourage people to start. And I don't know anybody that, without other reasons that they couldn't control, stop feeding a raw food diet when they first started, because they see the benefit. It could be some economical thing, maybe somebody in the family selling against it or something like that. But somebody that had started it and then see the benefits, that it, like I said, the less poop. Another big one is water, that they drink much less water because
what
of all the water in the
what
raw
about the
food.
temperament also? Do they change the
Yeah,
temperament?
no. A lot of dogs get mellow out and things like that. They don't get those sugar highs and carb highs they get on kibble, and they have a much more even. No, when the immune system gets stronger, all things balance much better in the body, because there are balance for everything, mental things and other. And they said my dog is so much easier to train now on a raw food diet, because it seems like they're more alert, they're more in the moment, they can see it in their eyes sometimes. There's so much more like I'm connected, and the many different things people notice
Super.
with their dogs on a raw food diet.
That
So,
is amazing. Thomas, I think I'm going to try this on my two beagles. All their
oh,
life,
that's what you have, Eagles.
I have two beagles.
Well, if you need help, please stay in contact with me. I'll help you out.
I
I'll
will.
send you my book. I'll send you my book so you can read that.
Sure. Yes.
But it's not. You can also buy. Where do you live? What state are you in?
I'm in India. I'm in Maharashtra.
Oh, you are in India. Yeah, I have several people in India on my in my study that feed a raw food diet. There are raw feeders in India,
I'll get
and you can get good food. You can get good food in India, actually.
absolutely. Yes.
So you do it, and if you need help or anything, because then I help you out. Because if you start doing it, you're going to talk about it to others, so it's going to spread. That's the grassroots movement. When it comes to raw feeding, is the most powerful one.
Super.
Because with you see good results in your dogs, there's no way you're not going to do it and not going to talk about it.
Yes.
So let me help. If you need help, let me know.
I will.
Do you have any issues? And then start with one little. How old are the dogs?
Oh, so one is 9 and the other is 11.
Yeah, no, perfect. They're never too late. This gonna even in that late age, you can undo damage that been done from before, and you will extend their life.
Super. I'll be in touch with you.
Absolutely.
Thomas, thank you
Are
so much.
are they fairly healthy?
They are very healthy.
Any joint issues or anything like that?
No, the older one is showing some issues, but
Yeah.
the younger one is
Well, I can recommend something for that too. If you have other things, just tell me, and then I'll help you out.
yes. All right. Thank you, Thomas, for being on the podcast. I really enjoyed
All right.
talking to you.
Yeah, no, nice being here. Thanks for having me. All right.